I thought resigning on a Zoom meeting would be the end of my corporate story. I kept my camera on because I had nothing to hide. I thanked everyone for the opportunities and calmly explained why I was leaving. My manager smiled like everything was fine. HR wished me the best. The meeting ended and I closed my laptop believing that the chapter of my life was over. Exactly 2 hours later my phone rang. The caller ID showed human resources. What they said next completely changed everything. They had reviewed the recording of my resignation meeting and discovered something that nobody else had noticed in real time. That unexpected phone call exposed months of manipulation inside the company and turned my quiet resignation into the biggest corporate investigation the office had ever seen. Stay until the end because the final decision shocked every employee and proved that honesty can become your greatest weapon. For 7 years I worked for one of the fastest growing consulting companies in the city. I joined as a junior analyst and slowly climbed the ladder through hard work and long nights. I believed loyalty mattered. I believed if I kept delivering results my career would continue moving forward. My manager Daniel always praised my work during team meetings. He often said I was one of the most dependable employees in the department. Those compliments made me work even harder. I volunteered for difficult projects. I trained new hires. I even canceled family vacations because deadlines mattered more than my personal life. Everything changed after the company hired a new regional director. Suddenly promotions stopped making sense. Employees who barely met expectations were promoted ahead of experienced workers. Friends of upper management received raises while others were told budgets were tight. At first I ignored the warning signs. I convinced myself every company goes through difficult periods. But eventually strange things started happening directly to me. Projects I completed successfully were credited to someone else. Important meetings happened without inviting me. Performance reports included mistakes that never existed before. When I questioned them I was told not to worry because leadership appreciated my contributions. Months passed and my confidence slowly disappeared. Every Monday morning became stressful. I stopped enjoying work. Even my family noticed I was becoming quiet at home. One evening while reviewing project documents, I accidentally discovered that several reports carrying another employee's name had actually been written entirely by me. The original version still contained my file history. Someone had simply changed the cover page before presenting them to executives. I gathered evidence but remained silent. I wanted to see how far things would go. Soon annual promotion announcements arrived. Once again my name was missing. Instead the promotion went to someone I had personally trained less than a year earlier. That night I updated my resume. Within 3 weeks I accepted an offer from another company offering better pay, better leadership, and a healthier work environment. The only thing left was resigning. The company required resignations through an official Zoom meeting involving HR, my manager, and the department director. Friends advised me to turn my camera off and simply read my resignation letter. Instead, I decided to keep my camera on. I wanted everyone to see that I was leaving peacefully with confidence. The meeting began exactly at 10 in the morning. HR thanked me for scheduling the meeting. Daniel smiled politely. The department director joined a few minutes later. I calmly explained that I appreciated the opportunities but had accepted another position that aligned better with my long-term goals. I never attacked anyone personally. I remained professional throughout the conversation. Something interesting happened during the meeting. Whenever I mentioned teamwork, Daniel avoided looking directly at the camera. Whenever HR asked about my experience, Daniel interrupted before I could finish answering. At one point, while trying to explain why I felt disconnected from leadership, Daniel accidentally muted himself incorrectly. He believed nobody could hear him. Without realizing it, he quietly complained to someone sitting beside him, saying he was finally getting rid of another employee who asked too many questions. I heard it clearly. The Zoom recording heard it too. Nobody reacted during the meeting because most participants were speaking at the same time. The meeting ended. I closed my laptop, relieved that everything was finally over. Exactly 2 hours later, my phone rang. Human Resources. The HR director sounded completely different from the meeting earlier that morning. She asked if I had time to discuss something important. I agreed. She explained that after reviewing the recorded meeting, their compliance team noticed Daniel's private comment. Because the meeting had been officially recorded, company policy required them to investigate every statement suggesting retaliation or unfair treatment. She asked if I had experienced any situations that supported what he accidentally admitted. For the first time, I told the complete truth. I explained the missing promotions, the stolen project credits, the altered reports, the excluded meetings, the misleading evaluations. HR requested copies of every document I still possessed. Fortunately, I had organized everything over several months. Emails, project files, timestamps, performance reports, presentation drafts, original documents proving authorship. Within 24 hours, the investigation officially started. Employees began noticing unusual meetings between executives and HR. Daniel suddenly canceled several team calls. People whispered across the office wondering what had happened. A week later, former coworkers started contacting me privately. They admitted similar experiences. Several had remained silent because they feared losing their jobs. Now someone had finally spoken. Their evidence matched mine. The investigation expanded beyond one department. Auditors reviewed promotions, performance reviews, project ownership, and manager communications covering the previous 3 years. The results shocked senior leadership. Multiple promotions had violated company policy. Several performance evaluations had been manipulated. Important client presentations had been credited to the wrong employees. Daniel had built his reputation using work completed by his own team. Eventually, the company reached its conclusion. Daniel was terminated. Several executives received disciplinary action. The promotion process was completely redesigned. Employees gained direct access to appeal performance reviews. Anonymous reporting systems became mandatory. Months later, I received another unexpected phone call from HR. This time they apologized. Not because I resigned, because they failed to protect employees sooner. They even offered me an opportunity to return under new leadership. I respectfully declined. My new company valued transparency from the beginning. Nobody competed by stealing recognition. Managers celebrated team success instead of taking personal credit. Looking back, I realized something important. Resigning did not expose the truth. Professionalism did. If I had exploded with anger during that Zoom meeting, nobody would have focused on the evidence. Because I stayed calm, the recording became more powerful than any emotional argument ever could. Sometimes the strongest response is simply allowing the facts to speak. The camera that morning captured more than my resignation. It captured honesty, it captured arrogance, and it captured the exact moment accountability finally began. The greatest career lesson I learned was simple. Never underestimate the value of keeping records, treating people respectfully, and walking away with integrity. You may lose a job, but you never lose your reputation. In the end, that reputation became the reason the truth finally came to light. A quiet resignation became the beginning of the biggest accountability moment inside that company. Sometimes you never know who is watching or what a simple recording might reveal. Integrity may not bring instant rewards, but eventually the truth finds its way to the surface. If this story taught you anything, remember that your character is worth more than any job title. Thank you for watching.